Superman! Superman! Huh? What? Oh, hi, Commissioner Gordon. Commissioner Gordon. No, no, no. It's me, Batman. No, no. I know it's you. X-ray vision. The fact that your voice isn't as gravelly. Also, Batman told me you were subbing in for a while. Oh, oh. Yeah, well, I'm Batman now, and look at my awesome mech suit. Isn't it super cool? Yeah. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. What do you think of my mech suit? Your mech suit? You look pretty normal to me. Oh, I'm not wearing it right now. It's the one behind you. Uh, oh, Commissioner? Commissioner? Guys, I'm talking about Imaginext again. Imaginext DC, they're really trying to make this the year that I get back into the line. Because they got me buying them again with that Batman 4-pack for the anniversary. And now they take one of my favorite DC characters ever, Superman, and give him a big old mech suit. And I love me my mechas. I mean, the mini Transformers videos are probably an indication of that. And yeah, this is not the first time they have made a giant mech suit for Superman, though, because in the early days of Imaginext, when the line first started, they had, like, police mechas, and then they made a Batman version of that, and then they took the regular police version and did both a Superman and Green Lantern repaint of it, because the Green Lantern movie was out at the time, and I don't have those. And then randomly they did a new Batman mech. No, that's not what they did. They reissued the Batman mech, but recolored as a Superman mech. So it was a Superman mech that had Batman's ears and like a Batman-like head in general, and a whole Batman shape. But that one was kind of weird, and I wanted to get that one, but like the release for that was a bit odd. I don't completely understand how that one showed up. I think that one might have been online only. I never saw it at stores around here. And now, randomly, they just have this new one, which I believe is also a remold of a Batman mech. Because I know they have a similar toy to this that is of this. If you don't know what this is the super heavy Batman mech. It's from the DCU, YOU era of DC Comics, that version of Batman. And they've done 3 different versions of this in Imaginext. They did like a big 2-foot one that had a lot of gimmicks and also kind of acted as a playset. They have this one that was a regular Imaginext figure that came with another figure of the Batman that rode inside it. This is not Bruce Wayne, if you've never read this comic. It is Jim Gordon. Commissioner Gordon shaved his mustache, took some weird pills that were making him younger, and he got in a mech suit, and now he's Batman, and he has a gun that shoots batarangs. And it's translucent on this toy, because at the time that this set was released, Imaginext was doing a thing where they had clear torsos that if you shined a light through it, it would light them up. These don't work too well because they've got paint over their bat symbol, so there's not that much to actually light up. But this is the version of that mech suit in Imaginext I have, so that's the version I brought out. But there's recently been a newest version that is basically this. And I think this is just that, but remolded, so it doesn't have Batman ears. I think it's the same toy. Either that or it is a very similar styled toy to that with Superman. There's also a Joker mech, I think. I believe I've seen one of those around. I would like more. For more characters. Since we got Superman, I would be okay with Luthor or Brainiac. Like, give me a Superman bad guy. Also, maybe just do it with some other DC heroes. Wonder Woman mech, Aquaman mech, Green Lantern mech again. That'd be pretty cool. But right now we're talking about the Superman mech, and we gotta get him out of this packaging. But first I want to point out that it's open packaging, so you can kind of play around with it in the box, but look at this. It's bumping into the blister card and everything here. Like, I just think it's a little interesting that it's just hitting stuff when you're playing around with it in the packaging. That's an interesting design. But let's just quickly get him out of here now so we can properly take a look at this big old toy. anyway, here it is. And this thing is basically like a giant Imaginext figure. And speaking of Imaginext figures, if we open it up, Superman is in there. There's this little clip right there that he fits in nice and snugly. And yes, there was a cardboard cutout of Superman in there for the packaging to give the illusion of what it looks like to have him in it, but then have him packaged next to the side just so you know for a fact you're getting the figure. And yeah, this is basically the newer Imaginext body mold that I think exists specifically for the DC line. And it's puffier, a little more defined in terms of its musculature. I'm pretty sure they've only used this for DC figures, and will probably only be using it for DC figures. I think it's meant to invoke the over-exaggerated proportions of superheroes. And yeah, I actually have gotten this already from the new blind bag line with Bizarro, but I did not pull out that version of Bizarro. I pulled out the old version, just so we can do a little side-by-side of the new and the old mold. And this new one's not bad, but I am used to the sleekness of this old mold. And this one does take a lot of influences more from the new 52 look of Superman. But, you know, nothing wrong with the classical look, too. And I do gotta say, I think I prefer the more smooth head of the original as opposed to the kind of squarish one of this new one. But again, there's nothing really wrong with this new take. So we'll do a couple more comparisons. We will bring in the super heavy mecha just to show them off. This one is taller, as it should be, as it was in the comics. And we'll bring in its pilot, Commissioner Gordon Batman, just for another little side-by-side. And we'll also bring in Steel, just because. Have two members of the Superman family together. And lastly, my boy Aquaman, just because one of the many Aquamans there have been in Imaginext, just to have these two side by side. So anyway, and we'll get Superman back in the mecha. You just, again, have that clip right there that he just slides in like that. The cape can get bunched up in there if you don't have it hanging right, but it's not like it's getting damaged or anything. So he's held in there very securely, very nice. And like the box kind of indicated with that little speaker picture on the corner, he does have lights and sounds. Just press the Imaginext logo on the belt. Makes some robot noises. And that light does continue to flash for a while. It does light him up pretty well in there. More generic sci-fi noises. Charging up. Stomping noises. Just various generic giant robot noises as he glows up. And that light is probably the reason the torso is also translucent. I kind of wish it was just the head area, because I'm not a big fan of having his hands and feet stick out of his logo like that. But I still think it looks pretty good. Again, this is basically just a giant Imaginext figure. So it does all the Imaginext things. It can sit. The arms are on disc hinges, so you can bring them out, and you can rotate them. It's just a nice, big, chunky toy. I mean, we've had bigger figures like this for a while for kids all the time, like the Titan Heroes that Hasbro does for Marvel, and a lot of other companies have emulated that playstyle. This is basically that, but instead of being a giant figure of the character, it's a giant mech that the smaller figures of the characters run around in, and I think that's a fun idea, and I'm glad I got the Superman version of it, basically. And as you can see, this arm is a cannon for missiles. He has this missile that looks kind of like a fist, but, you know, not completely. So he can launch that. And then he's also got this other claw missile. And again, he can launch it. Now, I'm wondering, can this claw hold an Imaginext figure? Let's get Gordon in here. Yes, it can, kinda. I don't know if it's completely designed to do that, but it can hold your Imaginext figures for the most part. And as for this other claw that it has for a hand here, it also can hold figures pretty well. And this feels more deliberate, because that, I mean, okay, you shake him around enough, he falls out, but this feels a little bit more deliberate. Like, now he's in there pretty good. I do think that's the intention of this sculpting. And as for other accessories, he's got a little pair of handcuffs with a big can in the middle. I don't completely get that. And for these, you just put out the arms of an Imaginext figure and slot them on. And voila, Bizarro is now in cuffs. So you can reel him off to jail, put him in here. And Superman's like, okay, Bizarro, enough for you. Whoops. That's enough messing around with you. You, time for the Phantom Zone. No, me Bizarro want to go to the Phantom Zone. Rah! And lastly, he's got this, a big Superman wing set with the Superman S on it. And it's got a harness in the back, so you can take your Imaginext figures and have them use this as their own little wing pack to fly around alongside the mech. Or you can fold this up on the hinge it's on, and I believe this should be able to... Oh, wait a minute. Looks like you use the clip in the back, actually, to put this in. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, I thought this goes on his back somehow, but I'm not completely sure. Hang on, we will look at the box. No, the box seems like that's right, because it's showing storage for everything. Apparently you can put the handcuffs back there. Let's... Alright, Bizarro's in his hand. I was looking for where Bizarro went. You can put the handcuffs in like this. That's a interesting feature. Which means I must be right about being able to do this. So we'll just... Okay, yeah, that fits in there. And then you can take one of your missiles and slot it back here. So he's got a good storage of all his little items, and we'll just put this claw in there. So that's very nice. You'll be able to hopefully save a lot of the pieces. That's really, really fun. Good to see that they thought about that. And yeah, that's basically it. It's basically just a giant robotic Superman toy. And you know what? That's all right. That's all it needs to be. And that's all I really wanted it to be. I just like Superman. I like mechas, and I was like, ooh, a Superman mecha. I want that. And I got it, and I think this is a fun little toy to play around with. If you got a kid that really likes Superman, I would probably suggest buying it for them. If you got a kid that's about to get into Superman really, really, really hardcore because of the new movie, I'd probably suggest buying this. Hopefully we get more cool Superman stuff before the year is over as tie-ins for the movie. Supermobile win. But if this is all we get, at least I'm glad we got this. Alright, so I think I've rambled on enough here. Thank you all for watching, and see you guys around. Goodbye for now. Me am not Bizarro. Will not tell you that you shouldn't subscribe to a channel if you hated video and don't want more. We don't want you here for all the fun time we don't have. Well, hello there.